Kendrick Lamar just used the Super Bowl to rip Drake to shreds.
This is, in a lot of ways, this feels like the end of a narrative, right?
Y'all, it finally happened. After months of anticipation and controversy, Kendrick Lamar finally took the stage at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans to deliver a show-stopping, one-of-a-kind halftime show. As the first rapper ever to solo headline a Super Bowl halftime show, Kendrick is already set off to make history. But after Sunday night, Kendrick also became the first artist to use the biggest stage in the world as part of a rap battle. Last year, Drake and J. Cole were literally claiming they were biggest of what? Biggest of Super Bowl. But now the tables have definitely been turned. That's why we're doing an all-hands-on-deck breakdown of Kendrick's Super Bowl set, including every single Easter egg and Drake diss in his performance. How did Kendrick use the week before his performance to build sky-high hype for his halftime show pop-out? What last-minute roadblocks did Drake put up in order to steal as much attention away from his nemesis? And when it came down to it, just how many secret Drake disses did Kendrick sneak into his show? We're even gonna do a full-scale roundup of all the reactions to Kendrick's halftime performance, from celebs to rappers and politicians. Just how divisive did Kenny get? Finally, we're gonna take a closer look at the speculation about the halftime show that turned out to be untrue, which rumors were actually total bogus. But let's be real, we can't talk about the halftime show without talking about Kendrick's epic Grammy sweep just days before.
Somebody get the broom out! Get that broom out!
Just 1 week before the Super Bowl, the 67th Grammy Awards recognized Kendrick with 5 trophies, as Not Like Us won every single award it was nominated for. While Kendrick didn't show up to accept his awards for Best Rap Song, Best Rap Performance, and Best Music Video, the Not Like Us producer Mustard happily stepped in to do the honors. Kendrick made a rare public appearance later that night when Not Like Us picked up the highly coveted Grammys for Record of the Year and Song of the Year. Not only was Kendrick the only rapper nominated in these categories, but he also made history since Not Like Us is the first diss record to win a Grammy ever. But the most diabolical part of Kendrick's Grammy appearance is that he showed up in head-to-toe denim, including a custom-made PG Lang Dodgers cap. Now, rocking an all-denim fit is commonly referred to as a Canadian tuxedo, which means that Kendrick planned to rock double denim drip just so he could shade Drake one more time. That's real commitment. Also, as Kendrick accepted his Record of the Year, the entire arena could be heard singing along to Not Like Us word for word. Cameras caught Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and even Blue Ivy getting in on the moment, including an entire industry screaming Kendrick's A minor line. I know Drake said he had no friends in the industry, but damn, this really proved it on a whole nother level. On February 6th, just days after Not Like Us cleaned up the Grammys, Kendrick sat down for a rare press conference. After being asked what his fans could expect from his halftime show appearance, Kendrick answered,
"Storytelling. I think I've always been very open about storytelling through all my catalog and my history of music."
But while Kendrick was planning for the biggest performance of his career, Drake was making counter moves of his own.
But in true Drake fashion, on his redemption tour, it's getting off to a rocky start.
On February 4th, 2 days after the Grammys, Drake embarked on his Anita Max Win tour in Australia and New Zealand. The tour marks Drake's first return to the region since 2017 and should be a big deal. But fans couldn't help to recognize that Drake plotted the tour to coincide with Kendrick's big Super Bowl showout. Could Drake have planned this whole thing as a way to distract himself from Kendrick's Not Like Us bloodbath at the halftime show? The Anita Max Win tour is named after Drake's so-called alter ego, a meme character that was inspired by Drake's prolific gambling habit. Some fans interpreted the tour name as a subtle clapback to Kendrick's accusations that Drake had a gambling addiction on the diss track Meet the Grams.
I'm blaming you for all his gambling addictions, psychopath intuition, the man that liked to play victim.
But Drake was anything except subtle when it came time for his set in Perth, Australia. He made a major statement by walking out in a hoodie riddled with bullet holes, with actual smoke pouring out of his back. Drake's dramatic drip turned plenty of heads and looked like a clear response to all the attacks he's been fielding from Kendrick this past year. Drake continued to seize the spotlight by announcing a brand new collaborative album with his OVO signee Party Next Door, which just dropped on Valentine's Day. That new album, Some Sexy Songs for You, is Drake's first project since his beef with Kendrick and marks his first official attempt at a comeback. On top of that, Drake couldn't help but to tease even more music on the same day as Kendrick's Super Bowl press conference. On February February 6th, Drake hyped fans by promising another album was on the way after his Party Next Door link up.
Eventually, when the time is right, Drizzy Drake alone by himself is gonna have to have a one-on-one talk to y'all. When the time is right, I'll be back with another album, a one-on-one conversation with y'all that you need to hear.
The timing of Drake's announcements made fans believe he was deliberately trying to grab attention away from Kendrick right before the Super Bowl. But the most speculation about how Drake might affect Kendrick's performance came from his federal lawsuit against his own label, UMG. We've already done a comprehensive breakdown of every accusation and lie in Drake's federal lawsuit against Universal, but experts and fans were on the edge of their seats trying to guess if Drake's aggressive legal moves would keep Kendrick from performing Not Like Us in New Orleans. However, as we all saw on Sunday, February 9th, all that speculation ended when Kendrick took the stage at Caesars Superdome in New Orleans.
Let me tell you something right now. It was a lot of controversy, y'all, because obviously you didn't know whether the NFL was going to allow him to play that record, whether he was going to be able to do it. He teased it, he alluded to it.
Right from the jump, Kendrick showed fans that he wasn't about to deliver your typical halftime show. He began his set parched on top of a 1986 Buick Grand National GNX, the same car that his latest album GNX was named after, and declared, quote,
"The revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy."
While Super Bowl halftime shows are typically used by artists to perform their greatest hits, Kendrick went in the complete other direction. He kicked the whole thing off with Bodies, an unreleased song that was only previously teased in a promo trailer for GNX. Bodies even included some pretty provocative lyrics that sounded as if they were aimed directly at Drake, and possibly even J. Cole.
Remember I said I'm the greatest back when you debated the number one and number two.
With the squad of over 80 dancers, all dressed in red, white, and blue, Kendrick's stage set included callbacks to the colors of the American flag and referenced gang tensions in his Compton hometown. The set design not only referenced urban street corners, but also recalled the buttons on a PlayStation controller and a tic-tac-toe board. True to Kendrick's claim that his set would feature storytelling, art director Shelly Rogers said that Kendrick's vision for the halftime show would be a video game that told the story of his pursuit of the American dream. Kendrick told that story with a set list that ran through a ton of his hit records, as well as some pretty big surprises. Kendrick performed anthems like Humble, DNA, and Squabble Up while avoiding popular singles from earlier in his career like Alright, Mad City, or Swimming Pools. Isn't Drake on Swimming Pools? Pour up, drink, sit down. Thank you, bro. That's great. I don't know. I forgot. He even brought out his former TDE label mate SZA to perform their stadium-shaking collaborations Luther and All the Stars. But Kendrick also snuck some pretty surprising picks into the set list. While fans eagerly waited to see if Kendrick would defy legal threats and play Not Like Us on the world stage, he performed a whole other Drake diss track, Euphoria, making sure to smile at the camera when he challenged,
Have you ever walked your enemy down with a poker face?
Kendrick even debuted the first live performances of fresh GNX album cuts like Peekaboo and an a cappella version of Man at the Garden. But when it came to stomping on Drake's neck, Kendrick put on an absolute masterclass in hating. From the very start, Kendrick was seen rocking a lowercase A minor chain. Not only did the logo promote his creative agency PG Lang, which produced his halftime show, but it was also a subtle callback to one of the most lethal lines on Not Like Us. Kendrick also mocked Drake and his legal team during an interlude where he played the beat for Not Like Us and hinted that their UMG lawsuit might keep fans from hearing their favorite song.
I want to perform their favorite song, but you know they love the suit.
Kendrick also used a surprise cameo from Samuel L. Jackson, aka Uncle Sam, to raise the stakes even further. Jackson introduced Kendrick's set as the Great American Game, and in classic Kendrick fashion, this cameo was full of double meanings. The appearance of Uncle Sam is a callback to Kendrick's 2015 album To Pimp a Butterfly, where Uncle Sam is referenced as a metaphor for America.
What you want, you a house, you a car, 40 acres and a mule, a piano, a guitar.
Fans noticed that Samuel L. Jackson's appearance as Uncle Sam was reminiscent of his performance in the 2012 movie Django Unchained, where Jackson played a scheming house slave named Steven. Especially since Uncle Sam scolded Kendrick throughout his set, claiming his song choices were, quote,
too loud, too reckless, too ghetto.
After Kendrick's performance with SZA, Sam celebrated Kendrick for performing mainstream, crowd-friendly hits.
Don't mess this.
Only then did Kendrick finally take the mask off and commit to dropping Not Like Us on Drake's head.
They tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Kendrick's televised Not Like Us performance actually seems specifically designed to piss Drake and his legal team off as much as possible. Legal experts speculated that Kendrick might avoid saying Drake's name at the Super Bowl, but Kendrick doubled down and aired out not only Drake, but also his OVO affiliates Party Next Door, Chubbs, and Baka Not Nice. And while Kendrick censored his notorious certified pedophile bar, he did have the entire Superdome, that's over 83,000 people screaming A minor right on cue. Drake's ex-girlfriend, Compton's very own Serena Williams, even made a cameo appearance so she could crip walk on Drake's grave on national television. Drake famously dissed Serena's husband, Alexis Ohanian, on the 2022 song Middle of the Ocean, where he called him a groupie.
Sidebar, Serena, your husband a groupie.
Kendrick famously defended Serena on Not Like Us when he said,
From Alondra down to Central, nigga, not speak on Serena.
Serena's halftime show Crip Walk wasn't just a lick back towards Drake. It also referenced a 2012 incident where Serena crip walked in celebration after defeating tennis rival Maria Sharapova at the Olympics. Serena's victory dance led to a ton of media controversy and blowback at the time, but all these years later, Kendrick's halftime set gave her a chance to flex on anyone who hated on her. Kendrick even brought out Mustard for the grand finale when he performed TV Off, capping off the whole halftime show with a promise to make Drake, well, turn his TV off during the Super Bowl. As soon as Kendrick signed off, the stands lit up with the words "Game Over," an obvious message to Drake that the halftime show was ultimately the nail in his coffin.
If I'm Drake,
But for viewers and fans alike, it's safe to say that Kendrick's halftime show was extremely divisive. Critics celebrated Kendrick's artistic prowess, claiming that he elevated the halftime show with the kind of political commentary that was rare for the NFL. Imagery like Kendrick's backup dancers forming the American flag or Samuel L. Jackson dressed as Uncle Sam certainly struck a chord. The fact that Donald Trump was in attendance as the first sitting president to ever attend the Super Bowl made the symbolism feel even more provocative. Kendrick rapping,
Started with nothing but government cheese, but now it concedes the government too.
in front of the president? That's a little crazy, not gonna lie. But some fans on social media were vocally unhappy with Kendrick's song selection, slamming him for not including more recognizable hits from his back catalog. Ben Stiller disagreed, calling Kendrick's performance the best halftime show ever. Snoop Dogg, who Kendrick called out just months earlier on the song Whacked Out Murals, made sure to share his support of Kendrick on social media so there was no mistake whose side he was on.
Boy, West Coast is the shit. You hear me? Get him, Doc. Get him, nephew.
Killer Mike hailed Kendrick for the purity of his set on social media, and that was that rap shit. Wow, brilliant. Meanwhile, Jermaine Dupri, who cameoed during Usher's halftime show set just a year prior, celebrated Kendrick and gave him his flowers. Dope performance, no backtrack, breath control, choreography, skits, straight rap shit. Kanye, fresh off an unhinged week of ranting on Twitter, even gave Kendrick his flowers, claiming that it was the best halftime show he's seen since Michael Jackson took the stage in 1993. Former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz had a meltdown on X where he posted a conspiracy theory that Kendrick was only selected for the halftime show to protest President Trump's 2024 election victory, writing, "The halftime show you just watched is clearly the regime's response to Trump's historic gains with black men." Okay. But protesters quickly reminded Gaetz that he resigned from Congress because he was being investigated for having an alleged relationship with an underage girl. And you know what they say, they not like us. They not like us. But fans pointed out that Kendrick anticipated these very same reactions and used his Super Bowl set to address the critiques before they even happened. The Uncle Sam interlude scattered throughout his set featured Samuel L. Jackson criticizing Kendrick for being too loud, bringing his homeboys, and encouraging him to only play hit records. It almost seems like Kendrick knew the exact kind of blowback he'd get and still doubled down to put the show on that he wanted to do. One thing fans did seem to agree on, though, was that Kendrick straight up buried Drake. Between the Serena cameo and a whole stadium screaming A minor, the halftime show was a much anticipated capstone to their landmark year-long beef. Plus, the image of Kendrick smiling deviously at the camera as he says, "Hey Drake, I hear you like him young," became an instant meme. Despite the controversy, Kendrick reaped major rewards in the aftermath of his halftime performance. Artists who perform at the Super Bowl are famously unpaid and instead pretty much sign up for the jobs to get more exposure. Just hours after Kendrick walked off the field, the streaming numbers for Not Like Us jumped up by 430%. Kendrick and SZA also took the opportunity to announce new European tour dates for the upcoming Grand National Tour. So one thing's clear, no matter how people felt about the set list, Kendrick's stock is definitely still skyrocketing.
I can't wait to see what happens next.
While Kendrick's halftime set made headlines, there is also plenty of rumors that were proven to be complete cap. Weeks before the Super Bowl, a fan theory went viral that Tyler, the Creator, might make an appearance as a surprise guest star. While Kendrick and Tyler haven't officially collaborated in the studio, Kendrick has been a headliner at Tyler's annual Camp Flog Gnaw festival in Los Angeles. Tyler also recently remixed Kendrick's song Hey Now, racking up over 20 million views on YouTube. Despite all this hype, Tyler insisted that he would not cameo at the Super Bowl since he was already on tour. Fans thought that Tyler was punking them, but it turns out he was really just telling the truth. Fans also assumed that Kendrick would use the Super Bowl to reunite with Black Hippie, aka his former Top Dog Entertainment label mates Schoolboy Q, J-Rock, and Ab-Soul. Ab-Soul added fuel to the fire when he tweeted that he FaceTimed with Kendrick's creative producer Dave Free, SMFH, I Just Shed a Tear, Dead Homies, Super Bowl LIX, history. After Kendrick put together a monumental Black Hippie reunion during last year's Juneteenth pop-out concert, fans guessed that the halftime show would be an opportunity for part 2. But that did not come to fruition either. But with a Super Bowl performance this hotly anticipated, it makes sense that there'd be plenty of fake rumors out there.
Yeah, man.
After finishing his halftime show set, Kendrick Lamar's career has hit a new peak. Is this really the final chapter in his battle with Drake? Is yet another lawsuit around the corner? Or is Kendrick's upcoming stadium tour just another chance for him to shovel dirt on his main op's grave? Kendrick already got over 80,000 people to rap Not Like Us word for word. So what happens when he takes his show to Toronto later this summer? Only time will tell.